and I hope you're having a great day. My name is Beth MacDonald Stone, and I'm an avid knitter and knitwear designer coming to you from Bermuda. Sorry, two ums right in a row. Anyways, whatever. I'm not going to start again. So, hope everyone's having a great spring. It definitely feels like spring here, where in Bermuda it gets hot, but it's we're still kind of having a day of winter-ish, so in the 50s or low 60s, with winds and rain and stuff like that. And then you have a next day like today, which is just gorgeous. The sun's out, and it's just fresh and crisp, and you can just feel the trees and the plants and everything. The leaves are happy, and everything's really coming back to life, which is really fantastic. It's fun on our daily walks, and just fun to sit in this kitchen, which we've got windows and doors on both sides here. So you can really just enjoy the sun and the weather and everything like that, which is why I'm coming to you from upstairs. The light is a lot better up here than in my office or presentation room. So we're back up here today. And yeah, I hope you have a nice drink and a fun knit and something to keep you company. That's me today. Okay, so what's new? I guess I'll just go into sort of the highlight patterns for this week, which again, I'm still on the Bermy Basics. So this week we're rolling out the Bermy Basic 14, which is what I'm wearing, and the 20, which is on the dress form here. The Bermy Basic, just to go over it again, is a concept where it's a simple sweater design that can be knit, or there'll be patterns for every 2 gauges, starting from 12 stitches to a 28 stitch gauge, so in increments of 2. So there'll be the 12, the 20, the 14, 16, 18, 20, and so on. So 2 have already been published, and that is I have to refer, because as I've said before, I can really twist myself up in the numbers, which is why I'm also testing and publishing them sort of semi-individually or grouped into 2s or maximum 3s, because I can just literally go around and round in circles and completely confuse myself. So thank you for your patience. We're getting through them all. But anyways, so the 18 and 24, so the 18 stitch gauge and the 24 stitch gauge, that's over 4 inches or 10 centimeters, have already been published, and they're online. They've also been translated to French and Portuguese, so thank you so much to my amazing translator. Thank you. I should ask if I can name you, but anyways, you know who you are, and thank you. It's amazing, and she's going to translate all of the Bermy Basics for me into French and Portuguese, which is truly amazing, really cool. We have a huge Portuguese population here in Bermuda. There's a huge Azorian community, and so it's just really neat that of the 2 languages, I'm Canadian, so I did learn French. I'm not fluent, but I can understand French more or less, and Portuguese. So I sort of feel like they're 2 languages that are near and dear to my heart and in my life. So that's really cool. So the Bermy Basics will be in English, French, and Portuguese. And the 18 and 24 has already been published. The next 2, which will be published, is the 14 and the 20, and that'll be out when this podcast is out. I still have yet to list them on Ravelry. My intention is to have it bundled, so that if you've bought 1 or 2, if you've bought 2 or 3 or whatever Bermy Basics, you'll get discounts after that. I have always given people discounts for the first week of publication. I'm not sure if that's going to be a conflict, so it may not. I might be able to do the discount for the first week, but not the bundle discount until the following week after, which would be a little longer this time because I'm away. So I should have probably done the prep before that, but I have a routine on podcasting, and the publishing is after. So that's so dumb, but that's how my mind works. So we're going to work it out. I hope it's not a conflict to still have like a discount, the 20% discount for the first week of publication, and have it so that if you've bought 2, you get the other ones for a much, for a flat discount, which would be forever. So basically the idea is that you only pay so much for all of them. That's what I'm trying to do. And then hopefully in the end, I can actually publish. Now that they're translated and there's 3 files for each pattern, I don't think I'm going to publish it as one unit, because it's just going to be 9 times 3, so 20. It'll be 27 PDF files. I just think that's too much. It's just too confusing. So I think we'll keep it this way, and hopefully I can work it out to have a bundle pricing concept as you go. Stay tuned. We'll get there, I think. Yeah, so, and Ravelry is amazing. They seem to have they've thought about all the options on Ravelry, so I'm super thrilled about that. I'm sure it's there, I just have to figure it out. With Ravelry, my only complaint is we can't schedule a publication, or I haven't figured out how to do that, so it's not something that I could have worked out earlier this week to schedule to be published. Oh, sorry, there's someone turning around in our driveway. They were clearly turned around. I'm just turning around. Anyway, so Ravelry, I'm sure it's all there for you on Ravelry for me to set it up that way. I just have to figure it out. The one thing I do wish with Ravelry is that you could schedule a publication in advance, like you do sort of like a YouTube upload or even Instagram. You can schedule things, but unfortunately on Ravelry you can't. So I can't really delve deep into it until I'm absolutely ready to publish it, and I'm ready now. But anyways, you can see how this is sort of a vicious circle. I haven't figured it out yet, but it should be hopefully clear with the pattern. And my idea really truly is to have all of them, the whole bundle, at a reasonable price, like similar to like a book publication or something like that, because of course you can have 9 patterns with lots of options within those patterns available to you at a reasonable price. That's the idea. And yeah, so the Bermy Basic, again, just to recap, so I was saying that it's all in the different gauges. So there's going to be 9 different gauges between gauge 12 to 28. When this is out, there will be 4 published, 5 more to come. Within that, these sweaters are totally designed to be modifiable. Also designed so that when you go to like a festival or your LYS, or you see a really cool yarn somewhere, or someone gives you an amazing yarn, you always have a basic sweater foundation for it. So you don't have to worry about like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with this chunky yarn or this super fine yarn? What am I going to do? We got you covered. You can just start there. And then if you look at what the test owners have done, and they'll roll out with the publications, the test owners have been so creative, and I've really, encouraged creativity. So for most of mine, I've stuck to this basic structure, which is sort of a 2x2 rib, a straight or tapered sleeve. This is the tapered sleeve here. This is a straight sleeve here. The similar length, body length, the 2x2 cuff, same neckline and everything like that. This is sort of the classic design. And I've tried to stick with it because I feel like it should be as close to it for the publication as possible, because that's what you look at. But at the same time, I really want everyone to look at it and be a little bit more creative. I really lashed out with this one, and I did like a 3x1 rib for the collar, cuffs, and hem. And for the hem, on this one, I did a split hem. So, chair. Gosh, everything's sort of backwards, isn't it? So this is a split hem. Nothing really remarkable. I just knit the front 3.5 inches long and the back 4.5 inches long. So that's sort of my modifications on this. I do note that on the pattern, but the idea is that the patterns are uniform and you modify them as much as you like. The one that I just finished also this week is the 12, which is in testing now. And my modification for this one is yarn overs for the increases, and it's spectacular. And another tester did this a while ago, and I just thought it was beautiful. And this really simple, bulky yarn really lent itself to it, and it looks very elegant. So yeah, we've had people that have done stripes. Mega from Skein Dreams did beautiful stripes. And I've had another test knitter do just little Peary color work around in the yoke, which is Peary being the small stitch repeat color work in the yoke. The eyelet increases, split hems. there's more. I can't remember. Holding different really cool yarns together to make the gauge. I think someone wants to do a turtleneck. Yeah, so really cool. So be sure to check out what the testers have done because I think it's hugely inspiring. On the cover letter of the pattern or in the Ravelry publication page, I give a little like outline like, please, you know, change the ribbing, change the length, change the arm sleeve, change the, you know, short sleeve, whatever. I mean, I'm excited to, I have one more to knit. I've got the 16 to knit. And I know I'm going back to do more because I want to knit some summer versions. I'd like to knit some short sleeve versions. I'd like to knit, you know, you'll see I also use this sort of concept for my base concept for further designs. Not holding it exactly the same because that would be really boring and why would I bother? But, you know, it's a really good launch pad. Launch pad, that's the word. Like it's a great macro or whatever. Oh, Luna's, sorry, so busy guarding the fort. We have a porch right here, and she can watch over the street in the neighborhood, and she's got a friend dog that's across the street, and they kind of communicate, and I can tell when Luna's in the rest of the house and Dasher across the street sort of barks, and Luna's like, oh, I've got to go find out what's going on. So yeah, so apologies for the dog barking, but I think it's, you know, it is what it is, and the traffic's going by, and hopefully there's going to be no noisy bikes. Anyway, so that's sort of the Bermy Basic. I'll go over, really before I leave, I'll go over what I've knit these with. So the Bermy Basic 14, I knit with Diamond Lane Big Birdie, color Peanut. And I was kind of hesitant as I was knitting it, and I love it. It, you know, it's just the perfect, it's just so fabulous. And I knit a size bigger. So in my pattern, I say recommended ease 0 to 8 inches. This is 10 inches bigger. This is a 48-inch fit. That's 10 inches bigger than my chest size, but I love it. So it's the perfect kind of slouchy. I'm taking this traveling with me because it's just so great, so versatile. I love it. I can dress it up with a fun shirt or scarf, or I can literally wear it on the airplane with my leggings and a turtleneck and be super comfy and cozy and hopefully sleep the flight. So I was a bit on the fence about this yarn before because I love the regular birdie, the original, you know, but the big birdie I thought, anyways, love it, love it, love it. So it's a bit of an investment. I totally understand. That sort of sucks, but I understand. So worth it. There you go. So that's really fun. And also you don't need a whole lot. I mean, once you get into these larger gauges, it's surprising. So that's why I have an extra. I'm actually very frugal, and could be called cheap. I rarely have extra balls, but for some reason I have extra balls of everything today. And that usually never happens. I'm usually down to like the last inch or whatever. So, but I don't knit often with big gauge yarns. And so I am surprised at how little it uses because I'm so used to sort of anywhere between a 28 and a 22 stitch gauge. That's kind of my comfort zone. But I'm getting more and more excited about these bigger gauges, and you'll probably see them come out more and more from me. The 20 stitch gauge, I used Hedgehog Tweedy, and this one I knit, this was one of the first ones I knit. I think this one and the boucle yarn from Fashion School Dropout, which is the 18 stitch gauge, which was already published. I knit these when I was sort of thinking about that, and that was back in the spring of 2022. So this has had some serious wear, like, and because it's sort of black with speckles, and I mean, it goes with everything, and it's such a neutral sweater. So I have given this special, like, serious wear. So there are a little bit of bobbles. I could depill it, but I don't think it looks rough at all, but amazing, great yarn. So again, Hedgehog Fibers Tweedy. Love, 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 love this one. The 16 is the last one I have to knit, and my other absolute favorite yarn around is the Gros Silk Mohair from Biche Bouche, and it's absolutely dreamy and makes the most lovely fabric. And I think I might knit that in black too, just as a second workhorse. So they have a really pretty lavender. We'll see. I know that it's sold in a store in a city that I'm going. I'm going to Berlin, so I know it's sold at Yarn Over Berlin, and I have it in my wish list. I might just get both colors and knit them both, because I just think another black It's like, I always talk about the perfect travel sweater because it's crazy light, warm, packs to nothing, and just goes with everything. So yeah, Bichet Bouche Gros Silk Mohair for this 16, that's coming up. But this is just as successful, and I really love this. And again, what's 2024? So basically it's been around for 2 years and I wear it a lot. And this one I just finished knitting. Like I said yesterday, this is the 12. So this one is in testing now along with the 16 and the 28. I used Drops Wish for this one. And this is a gorgeous yarn. It's so affordable. It does shed like crazy when I'm knitting it. I did just wash it last night, and I'm curious if it's still, well, I'm not wearing any black right now, but I know when I was knitting, like especially the sleeves, when you're sort of flopping it around for the first inch or so, it shed like crazy on me. But I wonder, I mean, it's a blown yarn, so there's a very fine cotton casing, and then the what's in it? The alpaca and wool. Sorry, I know it's alpaca, wool, and cotton. So the alpaca and wool are blown into the cotton casing. So there are loose fibers. But I wonder after washing it whether that'll tampen down. I just think this is spectacular. It looks amazing on. I did the straight sleeves for this. I did the size 3 for this, which is more my fit, because I thought this was almost a bit more of an elevated sweater, where this is just casual, whatever. So this one here is the same size as the black one here, and the size 3. I love it. I'm super excited about this one. The other crazy thing is, I kind of realized that with traveling and my publishing schedule that I self-imposed, but whatever. So self-imposed deadlines, but I'd really like to stick with them. I had a lot to do and away for 10 days. And so I started on Saturday morning with this swatching, and I finished it yesterday afternoon. So it took 4 days. And I knit a lot, but in an hour. I did the sleeve in less than 2 hours. And then the cuff I don't include it. Like the cuff is part of the sleeve, but I always see it as sort of like, do the sleeve is one section, a second section is the cuff. So I did the sleeve in 2 hours, and then just did the cuff, and I think it was 45 minutes because it was only 14 rows. So, amazing. And again, because I don't knit with big gauges that often, that really surprised me. Yeah, I always hear it's a faster knit, but whatever. I never really believed it that much, but it is a faster knit. And it's a lovely, lovely. Again, the way that these stitches, just sort of like this, where the stitches do lie very nicely. This is still a more casual look than this. The stitches here are very even. So the 12, 16, and 28 are currently in testing. They've got quite a few testers, but I would love more, especially for the 12. The 16's got quite a few. 28's was the most interest, which I was surprised at, because I would have thought people would have shied away from such a fine gauge. But I guess we're going to spring and people want lighter sweaters. But what I am saying is, if you would like to knit the 12 or the 16 test knit, I'd love you to. The due date is the 3rd week of April, which, I mean, honestly, mine took 4 days. You could do it in no time at all. And the 16, I can't imagine it'll take much longer, but you don't need to do it in 4 days. I'm just saying it's a fast knit. Please email me. My email address is below. It's knit@bmid.bm. Again, right down here. Yeah, I'd love that. I am leaving this weekend, so if you could get back to me by Friday, the 22nd, I believe, of March, that would be super. And I'll just send you the email, the pattern. I'm doing email patterns now. I was trying to do Google Docs. It got too confusing, and people could amend it could shuffle the pattern around, and things got screwed up, a little screwy, and that didn't help because it was confusing for other people. So it just got too confusing all the way around. So back to the old fashioned, I'll send you an email. In the email will be the pattern. The 28 stitch I've given an extra, I think, 2 weeks or so. So that'll be the beginning of May, 1st or 2nd week of May. If you're interested, let me know. Send me an email. all I really expect is that you knit it and post it on Ravelry. That's really important because I just, especially with this sort of thing where there's so many different yarn options and there's so many different sort of customization options, I just want to give people ideas and stuff like that and shown on different people and styles, et cetera, et cetera. So so if you are interested, please email me back or email me by Friday, end of day, so that I have time to respond and get back to you and send you the information. So that's that. So what else? Just while we're still in the Burmese, I think that's it. And I'm, again, super excited that they're all being translated. It's just the coolest thing in my mind. So yay. Okay, so moving away from Bermy Basics, what else have I finished? I have finally finished the socks that I've been working on since December. Those are my second pair from the oh my gosh, mind blank. Thank goodness I write everything down. Woolens and Nosh Advent Skein. So this, the first set that I made was actually ended up being fingerless mitts. Because the gauge I just was really tense and tight and stuff like that. And they ended up being beautiful fingerless mitts, but I still had exactly half left. So I knit these socks, the pair, and used every scrap of the color changing yarn and every scrap. Like the toe's a little bit bigger, but that's cool, whatever. And that was the contrasting color that Michelle sent with the Advent package. It's not funny, the sunlight really blurs this out here, so I guess this is better color-wise here. So yeah, amazing. I'm super excited to always try my best to get her Advent stuff when they're pre-order it for Christmas. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So that's finally done. No big deal. And it's amazing. Socks are so much fun. I just sort of forget about them every once in a while I'm knitting them. The other thing that I've just finished that I'm really excited about is this sweater here. And this is the Glimmerview Sweater. Now this is really oversized and yeah, there you can see the motif. I loved this small motif and then I played with it to figure out how to grow it to fit. Ooh, let's see, can I just put this around to grow it, to have it grow and to create the shape of the oak. So all the increases are in this really simple, it's a traveling stitch pattern. In the traveling stitch pattern to create that sort of what I think looks like ripples on water. So that's why I'm calling it Glimmerview. This is knit using Mota from oh my goodness. WoolDreamers Mota, and this is the color 201. It's like a gray. Lovely color. Beautiful yarn. Very affordable. Love it. And they also have distributors in Canada, America, and I think it originally comes from Spain. So you should be able to find a good local source. Held double with Ito Sensei, color goat. And I love it. This doesn't offer a whole lot, but it adds a bit of sheen, which is sort of in my mind this sparkle in the water. So this is, I'm really excited about this. Yeah, can you see there? It's just like, you know, the sun on the ripples of the water. Yeah. And Glimmerview itself is a wonderful Victorian house overlooking the North Shore of Bermuda. And I guess it sees the sunset from its vantage point. And on a still day, the water would just glimmer and sparkle. So that's Glimmerview. I'm really excited about this pattern. I really enjoyed working on it. Traveling stitches are so much fun. They're minimal effort, maximum reward. And that one I think is really quite casual, kind of similar to this. It's sort of that fit, very kind of oversized, really fun straight sleeves. Love it. I'm packing it. I'm really excited to wear it. And again, so I think it's really everyday. But I could totally see that design being elevated. So I would knit it on a smaller size, maybe a teeny bit shorter in the body. And I want to use these really special yarns. So this is Shibui Silk Cloud color Bone, and I hope everyone knows that. I mean, this is the most amazing mohair, and it is now back in on offer through Jimmy Bean's Wool, and it's not called Shibui Silk Cloud, but I think it's Madeline Tosh. Madeline Tosh, so sorry. Madeline Tosh Silk Cloud, so you can get that through them, and I have ordered already. The Cove color for another project that hopefully I'll get to soon. And then I'm going to hold that with the most stunning yarn that I found at Vogue Knitting 2 years ago. Oh, sorry about that. That was my next door neighbor coming home, and my dog loves her. So she was trying to say hello and won't you come play in a very deep voice, kind of threatening sounding, but really she's still kind of trying to get her attention. Anyways, so I bought this at Vogue Knitting, not in January, but the year before. And it is called Cashmere People Yarns. And I bought it from a vendor who has a store in Maine. And I'm totally blanking. I'll do my best to put that information down below. But this yarn I've knit one other sweater, and the drape is just incredible. So I feel like adding this amazing amount of silk and mohair with this it'll be the same gauge, but because the yarn will be a bit thinner, this is sort of a sport weight, where the Mota is a very solid DK. And this is a very fine mohair, as is the Ito Sensei. It'll have more of a drape, and it'll sort of hang quite differently and give a quite different effect. Hopefully, my intention is just a little bit more elevated, sort of a dressier version. So I need to get going on that, but I'll do that when we get back. And then I also have ideas on how to use the same stitch motif, but make it color work. So hopefully I'll do that too, so that let's put this back over my shoulder. So my idea is to have sort of the solid background, the main color, and then these sort of the crest of the waves, the little teeny ripples, that would be a second color. So I'm excited about that. There's so much that I can do to play with this, and hopefully it would all be in one pattern, because it's not massively earth-shattering on how to do it differently, but I think it would create a significantly different look, and I think that's really exciting. So I'll work on that. So I would imagine that sweater would be ready it's at the tech editor now. We might get going on the test knitting of it, but I'm still trying to figure out publishing times and whether, the times of the years, the seasons on publishing. Part of me is just like, who cares? I knit, I get creative, I have inspiration, and a winter sweater comes out in the summer. That seems cool, but at the same time it seems to have lost, because I don't think it would get as much attention, or that's not the right word. I'm not looking for attention, but I just feel like it would be kind of lost during sort of the season of everyone sort of taking off their winter sweaters and looking towards lighter knits and summer knits, and so maybe it's worthwhile to wait until sort of the end of the summer to publish that. Love your 2 cents. I know that there's also the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere, but when I look at where people are buying my patterns, people are mostly in the Northern Hemisphere. Do I care about seasonality and that? Part of me would just rather just go with the flow with my creative inspiration. I think it'd be more fun, and then have less things that are hanging about. I think I'll lean to that, but I'd love your 2 cents. On that vein, I also have a sweater that's in test knitting. Sorry, I was saying tech editing and test knitting, confused. And that's this one here. So I am sort of seasonal, but the thing is, this one I knit and drafted a year ago, and only just sort of got around to it. So I don't know if I really like that, because it's just a long time, and I'm not sure if I don't, I'd rather just sort of roll with it. But anyways, this one will be coming out. This will be my next published pattern, and this is called the Mid-Ocean Tea. And this is just really fun. I was just using sort of an argyle pattern and using that shape to create also the increases in the yoke and the sleeve. It's really comfortable. I'll be wearing this next time, and I think it'll be perfect because I'll definitely need, yeah, it's interesting when you hold it folded. I'll definitely need something cooler. And this is knit with Durarum Natura Antigone, I think in the color Cypress, which I just think is a stunning green. I love that green. I have a dress, like really beautiful cotton, very sheer cotton dress. Not sheer as in see-through, but sheer as in just super lightweight, especially in the hot days. And I wear this over top of it, and I love the two together. They're perfect. Anyway, so this one has taken over a year to come out, and I'm excited about it coming out for sure, but I think I'd rather just stick with the momentum of things as they come out of my brain and to the tech editor and to the test knitters, and you fully explore something rather than knit it, shelve it, tech edit, test like a year later. I don't know, that just seems so disjointed to me, and I'm so curious on your thoughts. So we kind of jumped around a little bit there. So what what has been finished, the socks, that Glimmerview sweater, and the Bermy 12, which is the white one, which you've just seen a ton. So that's a lot. What I'm working on, the Spanish Moss Tunic, which is the long tunic in green of all sorts of shades of green and is going towards sort of purpley gray. I haven't touched that at all. I've just been so busy because I realized these deadlines. So I sort of deadline knitting and, and also I've really wanted to knit the Eurus sweater, which I know I've banged on about, I think twice now. And I finally started. I just started like yesterday, the day before, and I am loving it. And I'm ready for a little break on knitting my own designs. And so just thoroughly enjoying this design, Eurus sweater by Aegyoknit, Danish designer. So basically it's one sleeve here and you work your way across and finish at the other sleeve. So that's the cuff, and it'll go on here. And that is so much fun. So I'm thoroughly enjoying that. And I know I'm sort of putting pressure on myself with other design stuff, but this is just going to be such a joy to knit on over the next few weeks. And I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm really glad I've saved that to now. So that's something that I'm really enjoying. And I'm knitting that with the Isager Eco Soft yarn, color, I don't know. Oh, E2S. So it's sort of a heathered gray. I think it looks very good with my hair. Yeah, so that's really good. I'm really excited about that and really loving that knit. And I'm really excited with that. The other thing I've just started with that Glimmerview pattern, which again, I'll just hold up again. I thought this was really perfect for a sock, for the leg and maybe the top of the foot of a sock. So I've drafted the pattern for that. And I mean, I've just started. I just cast on this morning. I cast on with the I cast on doing magic loop method. This is really beautiful yarn. It's one of my favorite sock yarns. Well, I could say that about so many, but right now, today, it's one of my favorite sock yarns. It's a spectacular color. I've divided it into 2 balls just so that I don't run into trouble on, I don't really want to take a scale with me when I'm traveling, so, but look at the colors in there. There's blues and greens and speckles all over. This is from Beautiful Knitters, which is a great store in London, a gorgeous store in London, I should say. And it's just their superwash cashmere nylon sock weight. So 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. It's a sport weight, so there's 262 meters or 286 yards. So it's a bit chunkier and a bit, it's very plump. I enjoy it very much knitting with it. It makes really lovely dense stitches. I do think it's very plump and round, that I think I'm going to change over to the really small circulars, just so that I am noticing a teeny bit of laddering on the side. I'm going to transfer these over to the small circulars so that there's no problem. And I've got a stash of them here, so I'm putting that all together in my little Bagu. I love these Bagu bags like this. They're nylon, so they really scrump up and go into whatever I'm carrying, and really easy to knit on in that. I'm excited about that. That'll be a pattern hopefully too. And I also, in the same pattern, would like to do the 2-color version. And if I do the 2-color version, I've already picked out, I've got a lovely sock color set from Les Garçons. And they're the BFL socks. And the turquoise here is called Caribbean Sea. And the green is Mysterious Frog. So I think that'll be really fun. And once I finish this solid color Glimmerview socks, I'll cast those on. So that's kind of exciting. So I've gone through what I've finished, what I'm working on, and what I'm excited to cast on. And I'm just so thrilled that I finally started that Eurus sweater, because that is just, and it looks overwhelming and tricky. It's very rhythmic. And I know that by the time I finish all these cables, I will be super proficient with cables, which I'm okay at, but they do really slow me down. So this is going to be my learning, the 10,000 hour theory. Hopefully it's not 10,000 hours, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so yeah, so upcoming designs. I've talked about the mid-ocean tee, which is in testing, and it'll be out in early April. And I'll lift up my paper so that you don't see the tip of my head. The Bermy 16, 12, 16, and 28 are in testing. And if you'd like to join that test, please send me an email soon, if you don't mind, by Friday, end of Friday, which will be like a day and a half. Early Saturday morning, I can probably still grab it, but then unfortunately, I'm traveling with no computers or anything like that. So it'll just be very tricky. I'm just traveling with a phone. So once I'm gone, I'm gone. And 18 and 24 Bermy Basic is already published, and the 22 and 26, the tests will start around the 3rd week of April. So if anyone would like to knit the 22 or 26, which is like, the 22 would be a DK, and the 26 would be like a sport heavy fingering. Love for anyone to, again, send me an email and I'll put you on the list. The lists are there. They're being formed all the time. So just let me know. So that's kind of it for the knitting. So I'll just pause for a second and we're back. Hi again. So yeah, life stuff. So it's been, the usual kind of couple weeks, kids at school, I'm frantically knitting, not frantically, I'm merrily knitting, I should say. But it's coming up to Easter. Spring in Bermuda is spectacular. The April, May are probably some of the best months of the year to come to Bermuda. Eastern Bermuda is wonderful. Unfortunately, we're not going to be here this year, but Eastern Bermuda is wonderful because it's very much part of our culture. We have historically, since the late 1800s, someone found that growing Easter lilies on the island was very good, easy, beautiful. They work very well with our conditions, our soil conditions, and our temperature. So we have a lot of Easter lilies that are grown. Historically, they were big fields farmed of Easter lilies around the island. We were a major exporter at one time for Easter lilies to the eastern seaboard and to the UK, just like the onions. Easter lilies, we have always sent a bouquet of Easter lilies to the Queen, who is now the King of England, always receives one from Bermuda every Easter. So they're quite a big deal here. Easter is early this year, and we've had a cold winter for Bermuda. So they're a bit immature. I went to one of the farm fields kind of close by, and I'll insert a picture here. They're still very green. There was a few flowers out, but still very green. I went yesterday to the garden shop to see if I could buy. Usually I buy a potted Easter lilies to have here. I love the smell. It's amazing. But they just weren't ready. So maybe when I get back, they'll be ready. But yeah, so Easter lilies are a really big thing in Bermuda. If I can, I will have pop some photos here again, also of the historic, like the farm fields in black and white of what they used to look like. Amazing, part of the tradition. The other tradition in Bermuda at Easter time is flying a kite. Now, the kites don't look like everyone else's kites. They're kind of circular in shape, probably octagon. I haven't made one. I'm a knit one. I haven't knit one ever. I haven't made one for a long time. We tried with Oliver. It's very gluey and sticky. It's very, basically you take wooden dowels and you cross them, and then you take tissue paper and glue it, and you do different colors. I'll try and insert pictures here also of a Bermuda kite. It's very gluey and sticky. My husband had told me all these big stories of how he had made them in school, and he was very good at it. And I think he kind of had a sort of reality check when he tried to make one with Oliver, and there was just glue everywhere and like tissue paper stuck on everything, Anyways, I've made them before too. I don't love making them. I find them really fiddly, but whatever. So you can actually there's some people that are really good at making them and they'll sell them. So that's what I've always done. I haven't bought one this year. We won't be here, like I said. But the Bermuda kite flying is super fun, and that's what everyone does on Good Friday. So on Good Friday in Bermuda, we go out kite flying, usually someone's house. It's a lovely party. At midday, it's usually when you get your first sunburn of the year, which we're not supposed to do, but it happens. It's, we're taking off our sweaters and putting on, and it's usually a lot sunnier than you think, and you're out and enjoying the day, and you get a sunburn. So Bermuda kites, flying kites, and eating codfish cakes with hot cross buns, sometimes with a banana in it or a banana chutney. That's kind of the food of Good Friday. It's not my favorite. I don't like codfish cakes at all, but most people love them. My husband loves them, and my son. So much that my sister-in-law will always make for our house a huge tray, so they enjoy that during the Easter season. But between toasted hot cross bun, it's really apparently good. I'm not a huge fan, but it's part of the tradition. And so codfish cakes and hot cross buns and banana chutney. The banana locally grown, and banana chutney is lovely. It's really spicy. It's really fantastic, usually with raisins in it. So that's kind of Good Friday. Easter Sunday is usually family day. The other fun thing in Easter time, this Sunday is a huge walk. The National Trust, Bermuda National Trust, puts on the Palm Sunday walk, so that's really fun. And actually, they're going to walk right by my house this year. They pick different parts of the island every year to explore, and that's a big walk. So, yeah, so it's a fun time to be in Bermuda, and if you ever can come during Easter, it's really great. I really love it. So that's kind of Easter in Bermuda. I think I've talked a lot about it. I'll be podcasting for a long time, and there'll be an Easter when I'm here and can sort of take you with me, but unfortunately not this year. And maybe I'll do a little recap of the Easter lilies and stuff like that when I get back. We'll just see what the state of the farm fields and everything like that when I get back. So, and as I've been alluding to this whole time, my son and I are off on Sunday to Germany, going to Munich and Berlin. We're really excited. He's always been keen to go. It's always been something he's talked about. I never really figured out why he was fixated on that. I still can't really figure it. He likes the culture. He's very interested in history. Not so much the last century because it's discussed so much at school. I think he's a little over it, but he likes sort of Roman and very ancient history, which there is a lot, especially around the Munich area. So he's excited about that. And then Berlin, we will be doing some World War II tours and stuff like that. We've got a really busy trip. It's very educational. That's what I like to do. As you know, I like museums and stuff. So we've got lots of museums and some help with guides to places that we can't access as easily as possible, as in there's a car involved or something like that. And I'm not interested in driving. When I'm traveling, I do sometimes in North America, and that's fine, but I'd rather be on vacation and whatever. So we're seeing some castles and around the Munich area. There's a town that Oliver was really interested in because it's part of an anime show, and it's actually kind of interesting because it is built in an old meteor crash area. So the meteor created a bowl, and this town developed in it. So we're going to see that. And I think some Roman ruins around Munich, the Science Museum, and then in Berlin we're doing some fun World War II bunker and underground tours, which will be really interesting, very educational. We're doing a day trip to Hamburg to see the miniature museum and see Hamburg itself. And I think we're doing 2 days of walking tours in Berlin, so that should be really, I know the city is very dense with history, and I'm very excited. Hopefully in Berlin, I've got a list actually for Munich and Berlin of yarn stores, a few, so I'm really hoping that I can get a few minutes here and there and slip away to see those, so that should be fun. And and then we're back, and so the next podcast will probably be in 3 weeks, not 2 weeks. And that is very exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. My husband is not a huge traveler, so he's very happy to stay here and keep Luna company. And so they'll hang out, and all good. So that is kind of it. I'm going to leave you now with a little video compilation of walk that I love to do with Luna, and it starts at one end of sort of over here is the South Shore. So we're right not overlooking, they're pine trees, but there's like a beach system over here. And Luna and I quite often walk to the end of it and then walk along the beach trails and then pop out sort of across the way there and come home. So I've put a compilation together of videos of the beach trail starting at one end, which is Horseshoe Bay, and going right over to Warwick Long Bay. Now, you'll be sort of surprised there's not a lot of pictures of the beaches because we've done that, and I'll do that again. But what I think is really spectacular is there's a section of land between the big road, which is called South Shore. It's probably our biggest road. It's not a highway. It's still dual lane carriageway. But and we go, why are there balloons just went by, and I have no idea. So if you see balloons go by. Anyways, so the South Shore, and then there's quite a bit of green and beach dunes and a wonderful park area between the big road and the beaches themselves and the water. And that's really fun to walk on, really, really spectacular. So I'll take you along that. And and people above us on the roadside were watching whales as we walked by. I couldn't see any whales. I think we were too low to the water. You really need to be up higher because they're out past the reefs. But it's the whale season to be passing Bermuda on their migratory route. I guess they're going north. Anyway, so the beach trails, if you hear squawking, there's the Bermuda longtails, and they're spectacular. So hopefully you can hear some of the natural landscape noises, birds, etc. If there's too much other filler, I'll just put music in. So we'll see. So that is everything. So thank you so much. Happy knitting. See you in 3 weeks, and be in touch if you'd like to test knit for the Bermy 12 or 16 or the next two, 22 or 26. I think I got it straight. Okay. Thanks so much. Bye.